naughty bots, but don't hit me by accident.
This game has a lot of mini-games for story progress. I can't believe I already messed this up, actually. But basically, we have to hit all of the Brickster bots using the face buttons of the PS1. This obviously isn't too difficult. I definitely jumped the gun a little bit earlier, unfortunately. There are rankings for these, gold, silver, and bronze, that might have already cost me a gold, which is kind of awkward in the very first minigame, given that a lot of the other ones can actually be surprisingly tricky, and I was kind of hoping to get a lot of the higher ranks, partly because I struggled a lot with this game as a kid. Obviously, I was really young, so I wasn't super great at games, so I was kind of hoping to get a lot of gold medals just to kind of, like, redeem my past self, essentially, who was very bad at this game. But again, this is definitely not getting off to a very good start. We have about 30 seconds left to go. Only one got away so far. I guess messing up early isn't too bad, but we'll probably miss a few others towards the end because this does speed up a lot by the end. It does get surprisingly tricky to manage all of these as it goes along. You also have a completion percentage at the bottom, and now we're kind of in a pinch mode indicated by the red light. I almost messed up again. This is actually falling apart very quickly, but now we should be nearing the home stretch.
Oops, sorry. Zero, 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 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0. Chaos call from Castle Island. Urgent. The Brickster broke the bridge.
Bad news is the Brickster has left Lego Island. The good news is we now know where the Brickster is, and he's on Castle Island.
Let's get him! He owes me for the pizza.
Yes, and now he's deconstructed the bridge between the two castles, and the neighbors can't battle at all.
The horror!
Exactly. Somebody has got to go to the rescue headquarters, get a boat, and get to Castle Island real fast and fix the bridge even faster.
I'm not busy.
Then to the rescue headquarters.
I think I've already run into a glitch. The reason I waited on the results screen at the end of the minigame is I thought the Infomaniac was supposed to narrate that text. My theory is Pepper saying sorry because of me messing up at the end overwrote that voice line, so it didn't actually play. There are a couple of cases of kind of glitchy voice lines in other places too, and again, part of me wonders if that's specifically a PS1 problem, or if that's also in the other versions. But next up is the rescue headquarters.
Ha! Got here first.
Didn't.
Did two.
Did not.
Did two and no tagbacks. Now, you need a boat. Get a boat and head to the exciting Castle Island, where noble knights rule medieval days. And the citizens and bridges need your help.
Cool.
So we can head over here, and I think it's triangle to get into the boat. Yes, it is. This is basically tank controls, so it's not the best controlling thing in the world. In general, I don't really care for the vehicles in this game. And we basically want to go to the water near the spaceship landing site. We should find a portal to our next area, and there it is. From here, we need to find a place to dock, and I guess this is a good time to mention that if it wasn't apparent already, I have been editing out load times for this playthrough, because this is basically a Sonic 06 situation, where every load time is like 40 seconds. So for the flow of the series, I am going to be removing those. Well, there's a good place to set down.
strange night in old Albert. You say you've arrived to repair the bridge, though we cannot. Before we think, before we sink, before we swim, please help us to repair our bridge.
That's why I'm here, you old swordsman dude. I'm a Lego Meister and bridge repairer.
So this area works a little bit differently. You might notice a counter in the top left indicating these little chalices. You do have area scores for the other areas as well, and to get the best possible score you will have to go over your way to get all the chalices in this case, and also get high scores in a lot of the mini games as well. But first up, we need to find the bridge, and it should be right over here.
Dive down to collect the bridge bricks whilst avoiding any obstacles you see. There should also be a page down there somewhere. You can't leave till you found that.
When I was practicing for this playthrough, I realized this area kind of awoke a memory within me. I'm not a big fan of underwater sections in games, and I think it's actually because of this game of all things, because I remember finding part of this kind of scary as a kid. It definitely feels very mild by comparison, frankly, to the games I play now. One other interesting thing is in the PC version, you do have another character who was actually the building guy in the first game, Building, if I'm not mistaken, and he does actually chime in whenever you return a brick in this mission, but it does feel like an auto mission that he's not anywhere else in this version, so this feels kind of out of nowhere. I have seen a bit of the PC version. I've looked up like playthroughs just to kind of see what's different. There are a couple of additional mini games as well, so it's a very fascinating release in general. In this case, we have to quickly dive through and collect all of the pieces of the bridge. We should have 2 at the moment. We also have to dodge the skeletons firing cannonballs at us there, and a bunch of other nonsense as we get further towards the bottom of this area.
Good, you're doing
But yeah, I really don't like deep sea areas in games. Between this and probably Mario Sunshine with the eel stage, I definitely feel like that those are the main reasons why I'm a little bit not super comfortable with these types of stages, even though, again, this does feel kind of mild by comparison. It's actually coming up soon, what I remember disliking. But first, we have this brick here. I'm actually not sure what the best route for this is, if it's better to save the closer ones for last, or go in this order that I'm currently going in. Also, there's a Constructopedia page in this mission. To tell the truth, it doesn't do anything, to my knowledge. It's just an extra collectible. All of the area will still be restored in Lego Island, even if you don't get this page. So it's just kind of a throwaway collectible, and part of me does wonder if that's a carryover from the PC version that just didn't quite make it into this version, so it just feels kind of awkward by comparison. I do feel like the PC version, from what I've seen, is a little bit more animated, which is nice. Obviously, the fundamentals are still in place here, for better or worse, but again, I almost feel like part of my problem with this is just kind of how flat a lot of the animation work is. It's not a horrible game in my opinion, but it definitely lacks a bit of the charm of the original. This scared me as a kid. I did not like the squid, believe it or not. Again, it feels kind of odd in hindsight with the types of games I play, you know, being up to play horror games now, that this really scared me as a kid. I used to be really scared by a lot of things as a kid though, to be blunt. Obviously that's changed with age quite a bit. We also have to dodge the tentacle like so, as we make our way back up to the surface. We do have an air meter, so we're effectively on a timer. I'm pretty sure that is generally corresponding to your timer for the medals as well, so we'll probably get another silver, unfortunately, because I don't think I can actually get back to the surface in time. But either way, we're almost done with this mission.
Hurry up, Pepper. Half your air's gone.
Brilliantly done, Pepper. I have never seen such superb swimming.
Huzzah! Huzzah! A gazillion thanks, friend. Now that the bridge is up, we can battle our neighbours again.
Fetching Pepper. Pepper, come in. We have found another page. Seriously, no bull hits at the bull's castle. They have run it up the flagpole to see who would salute it. To Bull's Castle flagpole, and hurry!
Alright, so the Bull's Castle is right up this hill.
Halt! Who goes there? I mean here. Who goes here? I mean, who are you?
Pepper, Sir Dude. The name is Pepper, and I am here to get the page that flaps upon your flagpole. It's pretty important to the place I come from. May I have it?
Nay, oh nay, one who calls himself a spice. We need a flag to flap about, and our real flag was stolen by those, lions.
What if I got your flag back? Could I then have the page?
Good thinking, Spice Boy. Here, here.
Then that's exactly what I'll do. To the Lion's Castle I go.
You must have a horse, of course. We will loan you one. To the stables with ya.
Pepperoni on a pony. Way cool.
So now we have a horse. Similar to the vehicles, I'm pretty sure Triangle will dismount, but it's nice to be able to actually get around this area a little bit faster. In general, I do like this area a lot because this is the era of LEGO I actually grew up with, so I remember having a lot of these sets that this particular set piece is based on, specifically the Lion's Castle over here, which is our next stop.
Halt! Friend or foe of the lions?
Friend to all animals. The name is Pepper, and I've come to ask for the return of the bull's flag.
Surely you are a talented jester, for you have brought much merriment to our walls.
Is there any way I can get their flag back? You see, the bulls have something I need, and if I give them their flag back, then they will give me what I need.
Oh, please! We have discussed your predicament. We set you an ordeal. If you are victorious at a jousting match with the Dark Knight of the Bulls, the flag is yours.
I've never jousted before, but it sounds like fun.
And now we have a snazzy suit of armor. So the champion is at the entrance of the bridge.
I challenge you, Dark Knight of the Bulls, to a joust.
I accept, little one.
Hey, I'm the same size as you, bully.
Harumph.
Aim sharper than the Dark Knight to win the joust.
To tell the truth, I forgot which buttons I was supposed to mash, so I accidentally pressed square, which is the engage button, and not the charge up speed button. It's worth showing that it's a very cute lose animation, to be fair, but to tell the truth, I don't like this minigame because the amount of button mashing you have to do is actually kind of absurd, especially for a kid's game. I don't know how I got through this as easily as I did as a kid. Maybe it was because I was younger and it was easier to actually button mash, but either way, we're in the green, so we should be okay.
Young knight, I fear my rump. is in the middle of next week.
And now we basically have to do this 2 more times, so yeah, this is not fun, in my opinion. I definitely wish it was a little bit easier to button mash. I wonder if it was easier in the PC version because of being able to use a keyboard, if it was actually more comfortable than button mashing on like a PS1 controller in the original, though in this case I'm obviously not using a PS1 controller.
Gadzooks, the young knight has a mighty arm.
I'm specifically using a DualSense for this, and this is actually one of the reasons why I wanted to use a DualSense, because I feel like if I actually used my traditional PC controller, this would be the most obnoxious thing. So I specifically wanted to pick a slightly quieter controller for this exact minigame, because it would be awful otherwise. I also kind of forgot that you can actually get a draw if you don't aim well enough, so one more round, hopefully, if all goes well. So let's once again build up power. This is definitely a good way to drain your hands. I'm actually using 2 hands for this because you're having to mash X and circle, but let's finish this off. In my practice playthrough, this went incredibly smoothly, so of course during the actual playthrough, I'm absolutely struggling with this minigame for some reason. Again, it's not even that difficult. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with it this time.
Gadzooks, the young knight has a mighty arm.
Forsooth, thou art a most valorous knight, and have vanquished your foe magnificently. How do they manage to speak like this all of the time?
I hereby congratulate good Knight Pepper, and proclaim today as Pepper Day for his noble defeat of the Bull's Dark Knight. A cheer for Pepper! Hip hip! Hooray! Here's your flag you so well deserve. Good catch! Oh, by the way, the jousting equipment is a loaner.
I like how you only get the armor for 1 mission, but with that taken care of, let's go back here to return the flag.
Have you our flag?
I most certainly do because I said I would. I'll trade you for the page, King Sir. I heard that the Dark Knight lost a joust earlier.
Our Dark Knight? Oh yes, he hasn't been himself lately. He probably has a cold or something.
And here's your flag.
Allow me to introduce myself, Pepper. I am Cedric the Bull, your worst nightmare, and these are cannonballs.
Get across the bridge, then take control of the cannons to knock Cedric's cannons out.
The first part of the mission is simply running over to the other side of the area. We do have a time limit indicated by the top of the screen, and that kind of determines our starting score going into this section. I'll be honest, this mission is actually really annoying, because oftentimes you don't have a reticle or anything, so actually aiming these cannons is surprisingly frustrating. There's also a cooldown on them. My best advice is because these can actually get shot too, and you'll lose score for it, so I'd recommend deliberately trying to leave the cannon when Cedric's about to fire, like so they won't hit the cannon. In general, I again do like this because it does feel very nostalgic as someone who grew up with the Lions and Bulls LEGO sets back in the day. I don't remember if this castle in particular was actually a set though. I know the Lions was for sure, but I don't remember the Bulls actually having a castle. Though again, maybe it was just a case I didn't have that particular one. That was actually very close right there. We have multiple cannons too, so we can swap between them like so to try to mix things up and in some cases get a better aim. I also feel like the cannons, like arcs, are incredibly spotty, so a lot of times it makes no sense where the cannonballs actually end up going. So I don't know where to actually aim a lot of the time, so it's kind of a trial and error thing, figuring this out. Cedric does have a health bar indicated on the right, and that basically shows the current number of cannons remaining. So luckily he also stands on some of them too, so it's also a good visual indicator of where they are just based on where he's positioned. Again, I like to hop off of the cannon just to make sure it doesn't get taken out. I don't know if I can hit this one from this angle. Yeah, that's a weird angle, so we'll come back for that one later. There's one on the top of the wall, which is incredibly annoying to hit here. We got it though, and there should be only one more to finish off this mission, as long as we can line up this final shot. We did lose one cannon, so that's unfortunate for our score, but we still have plenty to go, so we should be able to get this relatively easily. Slightly off, I need to aim a little bit higher.
Miss me. Better luck next time, Cedric. I got it.
And with that, we're actually done in this area. That is everything we can do here other than look for some of the remaining chalices, and obviously, in some cases you'll want to go back and get higher scores in some of the mini-games, since we definitely didn't do super great at some of them. But next up, let's head back over to our landing spot, and with some more Constructopedia pages in hand, we'll need to return a couple of the buildings to Lego Island. Now here's the fun part, trying to remember where the actual portal was. Again, with this draw distance, it can be a little bit tricky to find things, but this one should pop in relatively quickly.